it's been a difficult day. Yesterday was extremely difficult for a lot of people. I know that a lot of families are worried because they've not been able to get in contact with their families. We are doing all that we can to get the information to you so that you know what is happening across Jamaica. This is going to be a short briefing because we do need to get out there. We're in the middle of our recovery activities. We're in the middle of doing our assessments. And so we have to do this really, really quickly. And so as we start this morning, we do want to say that it looks really, really difficult in many parts of Jamaica, and it is very difficult. And the images we're getting are really devastating. But as always, I've always said it, we are a strong people, we are a resilient people, and we will get through this together. The first order of the day today really is to have an assessment of what has happened, and that is being done. This morning, right before this press briefing, there was a cabinet meeting, that was really about coordinating how we get these assessments done well, how we get resources to those that need it the most. And so all of our ministers will be out working really hard with their teams to get the support to those who need it the most. We also want to thank the international community for all the offers of assistance. We are so grateful to you to be so supportive to us in this very difficult time. And we will be working through our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade to coordinate a lot of those offers of assistance that we've gotten from around the world. So given that this is a short briefing, we do want to talk about where we are with the weather, because we still out there, and so we want to know the latest situation in terms of the weather. And so I bring Evan Thompson up to give us an update.
Thank you very much, Minister, and good morning to everyone. The sun has come out today, and we're happy to see that things are starting to look a lot brighter. And we, of course, expect that as we go through today, we'll continue to make things even better for ourselves as we do all the cleanup activities and arrange ourselves for the future. Let me give you an idea of what has happened across the island. Let me show you this image that I'm going to show first of all is showing the actual path of the hurricane that moved across Jamaica. Hurricane Melissa, Category 5 Hurricane Melissa. The first that this has happened to Jamaica, experiencing a hurricane at this magnitude, and we have been through it. We are now about to recover from it. And here we see where the system made its entry in the extreme eastern part of Westmoreland, moving across eastern Westmoreland and over southern St. James before going across the northwestern part of Trelawney. We see where it exited east of Falmouth, and this was just about 5 in the afternoon yesterday. This continued. The system has been continuing toward the northeast. So the swath of that we see of all the hatched lines that you see on your chart show much of the extent of the core of the system and where most of the activity took place as it moved across Jamaica. Of course, the entire island was engulfed by the clouds, the showers, the thunderstorms, and of course the very strong winds associated with at least tropical storm. The tropical storm force winds, but over closer to the center of the system would have experienced hurricane force winds. Let me go back just to show you what the image looks like in terms of where the satellite image shows us where the showers and thunderstorms are now located. The system is now centered over the eastern part of Cuba. That's where you see the red blotch over the southeastern part of Cuba. And so it has started to move away. Last night at about 11 o'clock, we downgraded the hurricane warning for Jamaica and instead replaced it with a tropical storm warning that continued through the night as tropical storm conditions continued to be experienced across the country. And as we moved to this morning at 8 o'clock, we discontinued that tropical storm warning because we are no longer within the scope of tropical storm force winds that are associated with the system. So as it continues to move away from Jamaica, of course, we expect conditions to be However, I want to point out that area of showers that extends from the general mass of clouds associated with the hurricane, but extends over western parts of Hispaniola, over Haiti, and all the way to the south of Jamaica. That's the spiral band that is supplying the system with a lot of moisture and energy. And so we see that we could experience some of that activity as the system continues to move northward. So we are still in an unstable situation. We will likely experience more shower activity over sections of the country. We could also experience some strong gusty winds from time to time across the island, but generally we're seeing that conditions are still very unstable. Anywhere across the island could experience some rainfall, but let me show you where the likelihood of most of the rainfall is expected to take place. Because on this picture, we see that the deeper greens over northern parts of the island, north central, northeastern parts of the island, that's where we expect most of the rainfall. About 2 to 4 inches of rainfall, 50 to 100 millimeters of rainfall expected over sections of the island, and that's where we expect that to occur. Over the southern and western parts of the island, we do expect that we will still experience some amount of rainfall as well. Periods of rainfall, outbreaks of rainfall may not be heavy, but we do expect maybe 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. That's 25 to 50 millimeters of rainfall over those sections of the country. So you will still experience some rainfall. We are going to, we have issued our last bulletin where we consider threat to the island from this hurricane. So that was issued at 8 o'clock today. Further information on this system will be communicated, however, by the Meteorological Service through regular news releases, also informing you of the latest position of the hurricane, even though it's no longer a threat to us here in Jamaica. And we'll also be communicating that there is a flash flood watch that's in effect at this time, just in case that we do have those heavy rainfalls occurring over sections of the country. Flash flooding is still a possibility, and so we have a flash flood watch that will be in effect for sections of the country, primarily in the north, where the greater likelihood of heavy rainfall exists at this time. So the system is continuing to move toward the northeast. It's now over eastern Cuba, as I mentioned, expected to move over the southeastern part of the Bahamas and then out into the Atlantic, heading close towards Bermuda, and that should occur by Friday of this week. So we're moving now to the recovery phase of this. The Met Service will, of course, be conducting our own assessment of what has taken place. We will provide a formal report to our minister, of course, that would be shared, and that is going to indicate what amounts of rainfall were actually experienced across the island, also where we had the strongest winds. We thank all those who have supported us over the past few days, particularly the National Hurricane Center in the United States in Miami, Florida. They have been constant support to us, and generally the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration of the U.S. has really been providing us with information and ensuring that if we needed anything, they would make sure that it was made available to us. We also want to thank the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology in the Caribbean that has been supporting as well with modeling products that come out of their area. They ensure that they monitor what kind of storm surge, what kind of rainfall, how the winds will be moving across the island, and we want to thank them very, very generously at this time. There are so many others who have supported us and have also expressed their gratitude for what we've been doing as a meteorological service, and we do want to wish Jamaica all the very best as we move forward from now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Evan. I think we're going to miss hearing your reports, but a part of us will also be happy not to have your reports anymore. I'm going to give you some quick updates, and then we'll close with Minister Mackenzie giving his updates from the ODPEM standpoint. My updates are a bit far-reaching, and I know many people are asking questions, and so I'll try to answer what we've been seeing being asked. One of the things we have to start with, we just issued a release that notes that the government of Jamaica has issued an all-clear following the passage of Hurricane Melissa. So we've issued an all clear. That comes after. That comes after guidance from the Met Service. You heard they're no longer going to be doing any updates, and also in consultation with ODPEM. As a matter, what that means is when we give an all clear, it means that our utility companies should now commence restoration and recovery operations across the island. So crews from the JPS, NWC, NWA, our Works Agents, or Water Commission, and also our telecommunications companies and other critical service entities have now and will be advised to mobilize immediately to restore electricity, water, and communication networks. We're also asking and encouraging entities like our supermarkets, or wholesales, or gas stations, and pharmacies, particularly in those areas that have been less affected. We are asking you to open and allow communities to have access to these essential goods and services. And as always, we continue to ask and remind Jamaicans to exercise caution on the roads, especially where there are downed power lines, debris, or flooding. And so please still be careful, even though we've given the all clear. The all clear is for our utility providers and other important essential providers to do the necessary work to restore service. Some other updates I have. In terms of electricity, 77% of the country is without electricity. There is work that's going to be done to bring that up as quickly as we can, but that is a large number. The least affected areas of Jamaica have been St. Thomas, St. Catherine, and sections of Kingston and St. Andrew. Obviously, we know the most affected areas have been on the western side of the island. In terms of water, there were just a limited number of systems down last night, a little bit over 70, but we have about 700 water systems that were down. Overnight, some of them may have lost power, so we do expect that number to go up, but for the most part, our water systems held up quite well. Turbidity is a concern, and so that may also throughout the day affect water supplies. In terms of our telecoms providers, they are getting assistance from Starlink to use satellite technology to assist many of our individuals and our companies to get back online. I know so many people have said they cannot reach their families in Western Jamaica. That's because of damage to the telecoms infrastructure. As you would imagine, a Category 5 hurricane is catastrophic. And so it would have left significant damage. And so that's why we're not getting communication. I finally got some communication just now from some individuals in Montego Bay. So slowly we're getting some of our systems back up, and you should be able to reach your families, we're hoping, very soon. The other question we're being asked about is the airports. We are working to have Norman Manley up by tomorrow to facilitate relief flights. That's dependent on the assessment that's done today. As we speak, Minister Vaz, or Minister of Energy, Telecoms and Transportation, he is up in one of the choppers. He is assessing the damage at that airport. He's also looking at the Ian Fleming Airport to see if that is an alternative. We will not be able to give any information on Sangster's International Airport in Montego Bay at this time. When we have that information, I will provide that to you. In terms of our roads, the National Works Agency has been given the all clear. They're already out there clearing major thoroughfares as best as possible. Obviously, in Western Jamaica, it may take more. We also know that in the center of the country, in Clarendon and in Manchester, there was a lot of damage, a lot of flooding too. And so they're out there assessing and doing and clearing the roads as quickly as they can. In terms of overall damage assessments, I think that's what everybody wants to know. What's the damage? It is really too early for us to say definitively what's the damage. We know it is Western Jamaica that had the brunt of the impact. We will have to give you that in the coming days. But right now, later today, the Prime Minister, Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, will be surveying the country. He will be going to St. Elizabeth, I think flying to St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Westmoreland, and also St. James as conditions allow. As I said before, Minister Vaz is with JPS and is looking at the electricity network and also at the airports to be able to give an assessment there. The Jamaica Defense Force or military is also out doing their assessments. We'll get more information soon. And Minister Tufton, or Minister of Health and Wellness, is also going out via helicopter to look at the damage to the hospitals, because that's also a key priority. So as soon as they have come back, we will be able to give you information and better guidance in relation to the damage. In terms of schools, we've been asked that quite a bit. We are still getting the assessments from the schools. We know there is significant damage in Western Jamaica. We will get those details as soon as we can. Individuals are also asking about the catastrophe bond that Jamaica has. We expect it to be triggered. I can't tell you that it has been triggered. We expect it to be, because of the level of rainfall and also the wind speed and the barometric pressure of that hurricane when it hit Jamaica. So there are many reasons that it would be triggered. And so we expect that it will be triggered. And once it is and we have confirmation, we will tell you that. In terms of the opening of government offices, we have asked the permanent secretaries in all of the ministries to do their assessments so that a decision can be taken. Our goal is to have our ministries open to be able to essentially services as quickly as possible, especially in Kingston and St. Andrew, where we've had minimal damage, and also in St. Catherine. And so the permanent secretaries are doing that. I'm seeing some of the assessments come in already, and so we thank our permanent secretaries for that. And so as soon as we can, we will start opening up our ministries for the essential services. Not everyone, and we haven't given an all clear for all ministries to open, but some people are very essential, and there are some operations that are central to the country getting back up on its feet. Our goal is to bring back up Kingston. Kingston has 1 million citizens, and so it is important that we get Kingston back up. It was not badly damaged, and we are grateful to God for that. And where there has not been much damage, we will bring those areas back. It's the same thing with electricity. The JPS has said that they will start restoring those areas that had minimal damage. So in Kingston, St. Catherine, St. Thomas, we'll start to see electricity being restored more quickly, and then they will move damaged areas. Those are the key updates I have for you. Just noting that based on Mr. Thompson's diagram and the trajectory of Hurricane Melissa, yes, it has moved past Jamaica, but it is going to affect some of our regional brothers and sisters. And we pray for them like they were praying for us. And so we pray for Cuba, we pray for the Bahamas, and we pray for Bermuda, as they are going to be seeing the effects of this hurricane that has so devastated parts of Jamaica. And so those are my quick updates. Hopefully I got through most of what was needed. I will now hand over to Minister Mackenzie, who will give you the update from our Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management standpoint.
Thank you, Minister Dixon. I just want to say pleasant good morning to all Jamaica, and for those in the western part of the island who was impacted severely, just want to reach out and to say that we are all in your corners and we are hoping for the best. The first question I want to respond to, I keep getting a lot of messages about fatalities. We are not in a position to speak about any deaths because we have not had any reports of any deaths so far. So we cannot presume that there are deaths. I'm hoping that there are no deaths to report on, but we are not in a position to make an official statement on deaths because we have not received any such information. The general overview is that the country continued to experience the Hurricane Melissa, and the weather experts have given you a full picture of what is presently taking place and what we must expect over the next couple of days. I want to speak a little about the situation in St. James, which was severely impacted yesterday. The Barnett River overflowed up to 16 feet of water, covered sections of Montego Bay, Westgate, Catherine Hall, Howard Cook Boulevard, the Freeport, Alice Elmire Drive, Barnett Street. Public infrastructure was severely impacted yesterday in the city of Montego Bay. The infirmary was damaged. The municipal corporation, 2 floors was flooded out. Jarrett Park, where the homeless population was housed, we had to remove them to a different location. The St. James High School was being used. There are problems there. We know what is happening at Sangster International Airport, and following the tour, as Minister Dixon said, there will be a full detail on the state of the Sangster International Airport. We have now been getting some level of communication between sections of Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And most of the calls that we have gotten are distress calls. Persons trapped on roof. The JDF and the Jamaica Fire Brigade, up to last night, we were contemplating what sort of approach to take, especially to Catherine Hall. But based on the conditions that existed, the first respondents decided that they would move, and as I speak, they are presently moving, especially in the Catherine Hall area and those areas, to see what the conditions are and to take persons out who are in need of getting out. Already we know the situation with the Ministry of Health and the number of health facilities that has been badly affected. The Black River Hospital has been devastated, for want of a better word. Falmouth in Trelawney, Cornwall Regional, the Noel's Homes in Hanover, and as I said before, the Black River Hospital, Percy Jr. in Manchester, Lionel Town, and the St. Anne's Bay Hospital have all had some effects from the hurricane, and steps are being made. But you know, Jamaicans, in the middle of all of this, a baby was safely delivered under emergency conditions. So there is a Gilbert baby, a Melissa baby, and we want to commend the team who responded to that. And there were, as a matter of fact, we have information that 2 other additional deliveries occurred. One mother is resting comfortably while the other remained under observation in the Savlamar Hospital. So we are a great country, and despite our challenges, we rise to the occasion. Our road infrastructure, we have not had a full rollout yet of the damage, but I know there are a lot of block roads. The municipal corporations, the National Works Agency, already the National Works Agency was active last night in clearing access to the road leading to the Palisades Road and other main roads. So by the public will see some general activities on our roadways, making the roads accessible so that persons can move about. Fallen trees. I'll be meeting in a short while with the Jamaica Fire Brigade and the Municipal Corporation and the National Solid Waste Management Authority to map a strategy as to how to approach fallen trees. I want to urge the GAPS to move, especially within the corporate area and other areas where there are fallen lines, and I said it yesterday, and I want to repeat it again this morning. We are now in the process of beginning the cleanup exercise on our main roads. There are a lot of lines that are down, so we want persons to be very cautious in doing so. We have flooded roads. The NWA team is mobilizing to clear block roads and to assess damage as conditions improve. Some of the roadways that were affected are Dalvin, St. Thomas, Hampton Green in St. Catherine, Caledonia Road in Manchester, and other roads right across the country. So we are just being specific based on the information that is coming into us. And by now, all the municipal corporations that can access their various municipalities will be out doing what is necessary. The question of search and rescue, as I spoke about that is being undertaken in a meaningful way, and all the necessary things will be done to ensure that persons who need to get out is in a position to do so. Our shelters is seeing now more than 25,000 Jamaicans. And since last night, more persons have been going into the shelters. And especially in the parishes that have been badly affected, a lot of homes have been destroyed. So persons now are going to the shelters. We are going to be looking at a long-term basis as to how we are going to deal with the numbers. I want to say to all shelter managers, parish disaster coordinators, and to the municipal corporations, no one must be turned back from the shelters. No one. And we are not contemplating in closing any shelters now. Once we have done the assessment and to see which shelters can be closed, we will do so. But for the remainder of this week, no shelters must be closed. All shelters must remain open. We are now going to be moving, working now closely and based on the direction that has been given, to start now to position ourselves to start to have relief supplies going out to the various areas once those areas can be reached. It is not going to be an easy road, Jamaica. We have seen the extent of the damage. It is going to take a lot of time. I know that person's patience is not going to last for much longer, because when you are in need, persons want us to break the rules. While we are prepared to do everything to accommodate speedy response, we also have to be mindful of the protocols that exist and the fact that we have to be accountable, and we don't want to be accused of doing anything that is not within what the law requires us to do. I am quite sure that persons have waked up this morning wondering what their future will be like. As I said yesterday, the government is here. We are committed. We have already started to put the necessary things in place, and within the next couple of hours leading in tomorrow, you will see a lot more, and by late this afternoon into tomorrow, a more comprehensive report on the status of the country and where we are will be provided. But I can also assure you that during the day, if it needs be, we will provide information as best as possible. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Minister. And this is the end of our press conference. As we end, we know that there are a lot of Jamaicans who are hurting, who are displaced, who are concerned about their future, as Minister Mackenzie said. No, we're here. The government is here. The entire country is here. And we're going to rally behind all of those in Western Jamaica as we also pray for them and pray for this wonderful country that we all love. And so we will see you again very soon. We'll put out a notice on when we'll have our next briefing, which will give you more information once we've done the assessments across the country. Thank you. And as always, God bless Jamaica, land we love.